Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're doing something a little different. We are taking a huge detour from the usual noise and plunging into what is really the ultimate cosmic roadmap. We are going to be decoding the annual Feng Shui forecast for 2026. And this isn't just any year, it's the unique and very demanding year of the fire horse.
It really is.
We're digging deep into your source material today to create a really strategic, practical, and totally jargon-free guide on how you can align your environment to capture the rapid, bold energy of this coming year.
And that alignment is so key, isn't it?
It's everything.
It's everything because at its core, and I think this is where people get tripped up, Feng Shui isn't magic.
Right.
It's an ancient study of managing, life force energy in your own space, your immediate environment.
So the name itself, Feng Shui, what does that translate to?
It literally means wind and water. And our whole mission in this deep dive is, well, it's tactical. We need to look at the elemental blueprint of 2026 and figure out how to hold on to that vibrant, supportive energy, which we call Shen Qi.
Okay, the good stuff.
The good stuff, exactly. While at the same time actively blocking or diverting any of the harmful or stagnant energy, the Shen Qi.
I see.
The ultimate goal is just creating an environment that doesn't just sort of receive opportunities, but actively magnetizes them. It's about supporting your destiny and your intentions through conscious design.
And that takes effort. No, that's the key thing. It requires conscious application and a real understanding of what you're doing.
100%.
So our mission for you, the listener, is really clear and targeted today. We need to identify and apply the specific elemental remedies and enhancers for 2026, and we need to do it right now.
Right.
Why? Because the sources are all warning us that this year has a critical elemental flaw, and if you ignore it, it will actively block wealth and opportunity flow.
It's a major roadblock.
So we are here to fix that fundamental imbalance and make sure your year flows smoothly with maximum gain. But to start, we really have to go back to the source, the foundational philosophy that underpins all of Chinese metaphysics.
Exactly. Before we can even talk about cures or enhancers, we have to lay down the foundational logic. We are talking about the 5 elements, or wuxing.
Okay, let's unpack this immediately, because this is where I think the Western mindset often trips up.
It does.
If we're talking about, say, earth, air, fire, and water in classical Western thought, those are seen as the basic building blocks of matter, right?
The ingredients.
The ingredients. So why are the Chinese elements conceptually so different? And why is that distinction so crucial for Feng Shui?
That is the essential insight. The Chinese 5 elements are far less about being the constituent parts of the universe like physical ingredients in a cake, and much more about describing the various dynamic states or phases that energy and matter inevitably move through.
So they're processes.
They're descriptive terms for processes. Absolutely. Think of the universe as having arisen from this continuous transformation, like a fluid dance of energy. Fire isn't just fire, it's the phase of peak expansion and light.
And water.
Water is the phase of descent, of storage, and quiet reflection. Metal is the phase of contraction, refinement, and structure. They're all verbs, really.
So they are phases of energy flow, and they come from the interaction of yin and yang. That makes a whole system dynamic, not static. So if they're always in motion, how do we use that movement to enhance the energy in our homes? I'm guessing that relies on the mother cycle you hear about, the producing cycle?
Exactly. The producing cycle is the primary way we introduce supporting energy because one element actively creates or nurtures or nourishes the next one in a sequence.
Okay.
So if you want to boost the energy of a particular gua or a particular area, you introduce the element that produces it, and the cycle itself is beautifully logical.
Walk us through it.
Okay, so wood feeds fire. That's fuel. Easy enough. Fire creates ash, which becomes earth. Earth yields metal, and minerals and ores come from the ground.
Okay, I'm with you.
Metal condenses water. Think about dew on a cold metal surface in the morning. And finally, water nourishes wood, sustaining life and growth. Understanding that sequence is absolutely vital for applying any kind of enhancer.
That system makes perfect sense for boosting energy. But, and here's another question I think a lot of people have, they assume the opposite element is always a cure.
Oh, this is a big one.
Yeah. So for example, if I have way too much destructive fire energy in one sector of my home, why wouldn't I just douse it with water instead of using metal to weaken it or Earth to exhaust it?
That is such a critical question, and it really separates a superficial understanding of Feng Shui from, true mastery. Simply introducing the controlling element can often lead to open conflict and, frankly, violence within the space. It's just too aggressive.
So that's the controlling cycle.
That's the controlling cycle, yes. Water controls fire, fire controls metal, metal controls wood, wood controls earth, and earth controls water. When you use a control cycle remedy, you are essentially starting a battle in your living room.
So we need nuance. We need to divert or exhaust the negative energy rather than just fighting it head on.
Precisely. That is why we rely so heavily on what's called the weakening cycle, or sometimes the draining cycle for our remedies.
Tell us more about the weakening cycle, because that sounds like a much smoother, much more elegant approach to fixing things.
It is elegant. It's beautiful because you divert the problem element's energy by asking it to produce the next element in the sequence.
So you give it a job to do.
You give it a job. For example, if you have too much destructive earth energy, which might show up as stagnation or feeling stuck, just overwhelming stability, you don't fight it with wood, which is harsh. Instead, you introduce metal.
Because Earth produces metal.
Exactly. By diverting the Earth's energy into producing metal, you literally exhaust the original Earth problem. You reduce its harmful influence without causing a crash. It's the art of mediation.
I see. Okay, so let me try one. If I have a sector dominated by fire energy, and it's way too intense, maybe causing arguments or burnout,
A classic fire problem.
instead of placing harsh water there, I would introduce earth.
Perfect.
Because the fire has to expend its energy to create earth, the ash, and in doing so, it exhausts itself peacefully and stabilizes the whole sector. Wow, that is much smarter than a direct conflict.
It is. And then, just briefly, you also have the insulting cycle. This happens when an element tries to control another element that's just too strong for it, and the energy reverses.
Like what?
For instance, if water is overwhelming, and earth, which usually controls water by containing it like a riverbank, is weak, the water can insult the earth. It leads to erosion or collapse.
So it's not just about adding and subtracting.
Not at all. It shows us that the objective is never about simply adding or subtracting elements, but about leveraging these complex, elegant relationships to achieve a true, sustainable harmony.
So whether we're using the producing cycle to boost or the weakening cycle to mitigate, the principle is always the same. Leverage the elemental logic to achieve balance and make sure the chai flows smoothly through the space.
That's the foundation of everything.
Okay. With that foundation set, let's pivot that knowledge toward the specific dynamics of the year ahead. Let's talk about 2026.
The fire horse.
Let's discuss the overarching energy of 2026. This is the year of the fire horse, and the sources all suggest this energy is fast, it's dynamic, it's disruptive. It is not a year for hesitation.
No sitting on the fence this year.
Not at all. This energy clears the path for those who are ready to move fast, think smart, and lead with courage. It really seems to reward the boldest players.
That speed and courage are absolutely necessary because the horseyear energy is arriving amidst a deeply turbulent global context.
Right.
We're grappling with significant economic friction, slower global economic growth, persistent inflation that's biting hard into everyone's disposable income, and high rising costs across every single sector.
And that's not all.
Not even close. On top of that, supply chains are still shifting. They're adapting to new geopolitical realities, and entire industries are being rapidly reshaped by the disruptive speed of AI and automation.
So the horse energy isn't just about my personal speed. It's a reflection of the frantic speed of global change.
That's it, exactly.
If you don't keep up with strategic thinking, you are not just treading water, you are actively falling behind.
Exactly. This is a year of reinvention where stability is, frankly, a myth. The danger is that the fire horse rewards action, but it doesn't automatically reward smart action.
Wow.
Impulsivity, which is the dark side of the fire horse, can lead to some spectacular crashes. Which brings us to the critical elemental imbalance for 2026. What's the major deficit we have to address?
This is the big one. The crisis, and the single most important fix we'll talk about today, is the missing element. In the elemental profile for this fire horse year, the water element is completely missing.
And that is a critical issue that cannot be overstated. Water symbolizes wealth, opportunity, and continuous flow. It's the lifeblood of prosperity and movement.
So when it's gone,
When it's completely absent from the annual chart, the ramification is immediate and profound. Financial and opportunity luck will not flow naturally. The energy of the year will feel stagnant, dry, and potentially hostile to growth unless a deliberate, conscious effort is made to restore that water flow.
Wow. An elemental vacuum in the very element that represents cash flow and opportunities. In a global economy that's already struggling with slow growth and high costs, doing nothing is essentially guaranteeing stagnation.
You're guaranteeing it.
It has to be the highest priority fix.
It is the non-negotiable first step. But we also have to look at the prevailing energy, the fire horse itself. Fire is strong, and it interacts intensely with the other dominant element of the year, which is metal.
Right. The sources mention 2 units of metal being present, and that governs intelligence and creativity. So the year favors sharp thinking and strategy.
That's the inherent paradox and, frankly, the danger of 2026. Metal represents strategic intelligence, structure, discipline, clear thinking. However, fire controls metal in the elemental cycle. Fire melts or refines metal.
Okay.
So with fire passion, impulse, speed being the dominant energy, and metal strategy, clarity being the focus of our intelligence, the big warning is that passion might burn out strategy.
That is the deeper insight. The speed of the horse and the heat of the fire might lead us to make rash decisions that just melt our carefully crafted plans.
Yes.
We run the risk of letting pure, untamed ambition override disciplined execution.
Precisely. If we just enhance metal, the fire will just burn it up faster. If we just enhance water, the strong fire can easily evaporate it.
So what's the solution?
This realization dictates a much more nuanced strategy. We need to introduce a mediator. The element that weakens fire and produces metal is earth.
Back to the cycles.
Always back to the cycles. Earth stabilizes the impulsive fire energy, and it transforms that intense heat into productivity because Earth creates metal. Therefore, our two-pronged elemental strategy for 2026 is inject water for flow and introduce Earth for stability and to mediate that fire-metal conflict.
Okay.
This ensures your bold moves are supported by structure, not just raw impulsivity.
So the goal is a complex synthesis. You leverage the mental sharpness of the metal, you stabilize the wildfire with earth, and then you consciously inject the missing water to ensure those stable, smart ideas actually translate into flowing wealth and opportunity.
Yes, preventing them from evaporating or just stagnating.
That's a sophisticated and really practical approach.
It has to be.
Given that water is the missing element, the critical link to continuous flow and wealth activating it becomes the single most critical physical adjustment we need to make for 2026.
Absolutely, number one.
So what are the most accessible and immediately effective ways to restore that water element, keeping in mind that we also need stability from earth and strategic thinking from metal?
We begin with the safest, the easiest, and the most strategic cure of all, sender activation. Place a bowl of clean, fresh water at the absolute geometric center of your home.
Okay.
And this is key, commit to refilling it daily.
Why the center, specifically? And why is this considered such a high-impact, low-risk cure?
No, the center of the home is the Tai Chi. It's the heart of the space. Symbolically, it's where the most vibrant, systemic Chi should gather to influence all 9 sectors of your home equally.
So it radiates outwards.
It radiates outwards. By placing water there, you directly restore the missing water Chi, and you immediately activate systemic wealth luck throughout the entire structure. But there's more. The annual Flying Star energies, they shift every year. Yeah. And for 2026, the highly auspicious Victory Star 1 is visiting the center.
And Star 1 is a water star, isn't it?
It's a powerful water star associated with new beginnings, success, and reputation.
So by placing water in the center, you're achieving a triple win. You fill the elemental gap, you activate wealth energy systemically, and you strengthen the most beneficial annual star that promises victory.
Precisely. It's a double enhancement using a single, simple act of intentional placement. However, this brings us to a major cautionary note.
I was going to ask.
It's for those who immediately jump to the idea of adding a big fountain or an aquarium when they hear water element.
Right. Go big or go home. What are the dangers and cautions about those more advanced water placements? And maybe for the layperson, can you explain briefly what a flying star chart even is that makes water placement so risky?
Of course. So water conducts Qi very fast, and it amplifies the energy of whatever sector it's placed in. This amplification is why random placement is highly, highly risky. A flying star chart basically maps how these time-based energies or stars visit your home annually and monthly.
And these aren't constellations, right?
No, not at all. They're just representations of different types of energy flow. Stars 1, 6, and 8 are generally positive. Stars 2 and 5 are highly negative.
And what happens if someone, without knowing, puts a fountain in a sector that's being visited by one of those negative stars?
That's the disaster scenario we want to help you avoid. If you place a large, active water feature, a fountain or a bubbling aquarium in the sector visited by the annual illness star 2 or the terrible misfortune star 5, you are activating and magnifying that destructive energy with constant motion.
Yikes. So what could that look like in real life?
For example, placing water in the 5 sector can trigger significant financial losses, crippling business failure, sudden illness, or extreme legal issues. The risk just massively outweighs the benefit if you are just guessing where to put it.
Okay.
Therefore, the simple bowl of clean, still water in the center is the only safe and guaranteed effective cure without a professional consultation.
That is an extremely crucial warning. The goal is flow, not financial or physical disaster. So if we are nervous about dealing with actual moving water, what are the recommended symbolic enhancers we can use to draw in that flow and abundance?
Symbolic water enhancers are great because they work by engaging your intention and psychological priming, and they are entirely safe regardless of the flying stars. You are using the symbolism of abundance to shift your focus and attract wealth.
Okay, let's break down a few of the recommended symbolic items from the sources.
Okay, first we have the sky bowl with a water motif. The bowl traditionally symbolizes steadiness and wealth retention. By giving it a water motif, it becomes this powerful talisman for attracting consistent wealth and investment luck. It grounds the flow element with the earth element of stability.
So that's excellent for anyone focused on, say, capital appreciation or building investments.
Perfect for that.
And what about revitalizing growth? Especially since we are missing that spring energy with no water.
For reviving growth and addressing the missing chi, the recommendation is the Lapchun wealth tree. Lapchun literally means the start of spring.
Ah.
This particular symbol is designed with 9 water droplets and 9 birds. 9 is a very potent number of completion in Feng Shui, and the droplets symbolize the reintroduction of the water element that's necessary to revive growth. It's designed to turn stagnation into a fresh beginning.
And for those of us who need a constant, portable reminder of that flow, something to carry with us.
Then you might carry the annual wealth amulet. This typically features a water drop symbol integrated with a talisman that's designed to convert potential misfortune into good luck. By having that water symbol with you, it serves as a constant, subtle reminder of your intention to maintain flow even when you're outside your home environment.
Finally, let's talk about non-active enhancements. If we want to use color and form to integrate water into the environment more subtly, what should we focus on?
Color and form are incredibly potent because they influence the energy without creating that physical movement we were worried about. You should incorporate watercolors, black, navy, and deep blue.
And shapes.
For form, water is associated with flowing, undulating, and asymmetrical shapes. And remember our strategy for the year. Metal enhances water, as metal condenses water.
Right.
So using metallic tones, gold, silver, or round metal objects in your water-activated areas will provide additional strategic support.
So, by consciously adding these colors, symbols, and that all-important central water bowl, you are systematically reintroducing the essential wealth flow into what would otherwise be a very dry, fast, and potentially volatile fire horse here.
You're creating your own oasis, essentially.
Once we have that overarching systemic water cure in place, the next step is applying specific elemental corrections across the different areas of our lives, which correspond to specific areas or guas in our home. This is where the Bagua map comes in. Can you quickly clarify for the listener how they correctly define their space using this mapping system? Because it can be confusing.
It can be. So the Bagua map divides your home or your space into 9 sectors or palaces. Each one corresponds to a life area, an element, and often specific family members. To use it accurately, you first have to find the geometric center of your house or office.
How do you do that?
Typically by drawing the diagonals on your floor plan. Where they cross is the center. Then, and this is crucial, you need a precise compass, ideally a Feng Shui compass, a luopan, but a good regular one will do, to determine the exact magnetic direction of your front door.
Because the front door is the mouth of Qi. So you orient the map based on the compass reading of the door facing, with the center aligned to the heart of the home, and then everything is divided into these precise directional slices.
That is the classical accurate method. This ensures that the northwest sector, for example, truly aligns with the northwest magnetic direction, which is essential because the energy, the qi, entering your home is directly influenced by the Earth's magnetic field and solar alignment.
Got it. So now let's break down the most critical life areas, or guas, one by one, focusing on the elemental logic behind the cures and restrictions for 2026.
Let's do it.
Let's start with career and life path, which is in the north. This area's core element is water, which is actually good news for 2026 since we need to boost water overall. The attributes here are black, dark colors, metal, and round shapes.
Right. So to enhance this area for career success, we focus on nourishing the North's water element. Since metal produces water, the enhancements include using metal objects like wind chimes or maybe two heavy stone objects for stability. That brings in the earth element, our mediator for the year.
And plants.
We can also introduce continuous growth with two evergreen plants, but we want to avoid anything that damages water. Therefore, you absolutely want to minimize earth colors like yellows and browns because earth muddies water.
Which could translate to
Oh,
an unclear career path or confusion.
exactly. Or feeling stuck in the mud at work. You also minimize fire colors, reds, oranges, and pointed shapes because fire puts out water, which could lead to burnout or even a sudden job loss.
Okay, next, the area everyone is focused on in a financially volatile year, prosperity wealth, which is in the southeast. This area is traditionally governed by wood, representing growth.
Yes, and the key attributes here are powerful colors: blue, purple, red, gold, and green. Since the fire horse year requires constant flow and growth, enhancing this wood area is crucial. Wood needs water to flourish, so symbolic water, like clear vases or subtle blue accents, works well here.
And traditional enhancers.
We also rely on traditional wealth enhancers. This includes placing gold coins, a jade plant, which is the ultimate symbol of living, growing wealth, or a specialized treasure box you can use for storing intentions or valuable financial papers. The key here is activation through symbols of abundance and growth.
Moving to the south, we have the fame area, representing our reputation, recognition, and our status, basically how the world sees us.
Fame is the realm of fire. This is where you want to shine in the dynamic horse year. The core attributes are fire, so red, triangular, or pointed shapes, and wood, which is green, because wood feeds the fire.
So enhancements are pretty direct.
Very direct. Anything that signifies light and recognition. Framed certificates, your diplomas, awards, or even just setting up a bright, inspiring home office space in this area. Red candles and living plants both feed the fire energy, promoting your visibility.
And what should we avoid here?
Since fire is the element we want to support, the elements to minimize are water, so black, navy colors, because water puts out fire. You don't want to extinguish your visibility or damage your reputation.
And this gua, fame, is often where clutter causes the most insidious symbolic damage, right?
Oh, absolutely. The fame gua often holds hidden energy blocks. Clutter is always blocked energy, but specific clutter here is disastrous. If you are storing old clothes from a former career or memorabilia that represents a past persona,
You're stuck in the past.
you're symbolically telling the universe that your fame and recognition belong in the past. If you clear that space, placing red and green accents, you create a blank slate for new, current recognition to enter your life. It's incredibly powerful.
Now for love and marriage in the Southwest, which focuses on relationships and partnership harmony.
This area is primarily earth, representing stable foundations. The pairing colors are red, pink, white, lilac, and peach. And the most potent cure involves placing items in pairs to symbolize unity, partnership, duality.
So two of everything.
2 crystal rabbits, 2 matching pink candles, and ensuring symmetry, like having matching end tables or lamps beside your bed.
And the element to avoid.
The earth element here requires you to avoid wood so green, tall columnar shapes. The reason is that the relentless growth of wood exhausts the stable energy of earth. In a relationship, that can lead to strain and conflict because of overextension or, one partner taking on way too much.
The power of that anecdote you shared about clearing the love gua always sticks with me. The immediate physical release of stagnation can truly shift intention.
It proves that Feng Shui isn't just about placing objects, it's about intentional energy management. If the physical space mirrors your internal state, like that friend grieving a relationship while the area was just a mountain of laundry clearing, the physical space sets the immediate intention for new, clean energy to enter. It aligns the external world with the desired internal state.
Let's move to creativity in the West. This is the sector associated with children, new ideas, and structured expression.
Creativity is a metal area, which is highly beneficial this year, given metal's role in intelligence and strategy. We enhance metal with earth, since earth produces metal.
So colors and shapes.
The colors are white and pastel, and the shapes are round or square. Enhancements include things like crystals, which are earth, original artwork, or pictures of children, or even baby animals.
And what do we minimize?
Critically, you want to minimize fire, so red colors, pointed shapes, because fire melts metal. Too much fire energy here can lead to ideas that are quickly burned out, lost, or just overly impulsive, which damages that disciplined creativity we need this year.
Next, the areas for well-being, health and spiritual health. These guas are essential for maintaining our energy throughout the rapid fire horse year.
These sectors are earth-based, symbolizing our stability and foundational physical strength. The attributes are earth colors like yellow, and the element that feeds earth, which is fire so red, pointed shapes. To enhance health stability, you can introduce yellow flowers, a salt lamp, which is fire and earth, a bowl of lemons, or maybe an image of a stabilizing figure like a Kuan Yin statue.
You mentioned before the importance of minimizing wood in the earth sectors. Why is wood so draining specifically in the health gua?
This is a deep elemental truth that translates perfectly into modern stress concepts. When wood is strong, it acts like relentless root-bound growth, just drawing resources from the earth. Earth represents our physical stability and our reserves.
Okay.
Therefore, too many tall, vigorous green plants or overly busy columnar furniture in the health sector can symbolize a drain on your vital energy. This translates into burnout, physical exhaustion, or chronic illness where you just feel constantly depleted.
Like you're working harder just to maintain basic health.
Exactly. This is why we say wood exhausts earth, and we have to be so careful not to trigger that depletion in our health area.
Finally, helpful people in the Northwest, which includes our community, our friends, and those unsolicited opportunities that just seem to fall in your lap.
This is another metal area, which is excellent for the sharp, strategic networking that's required in 2026. The colors are white, gray, black, and silver. Enhancements here are meant to attract assistance and support. A silver box, mirrors, or images that represent helpful forces like angels or mentors. In a year that rewards fast action, activating this area ensures that when you need strategic advice or a helping hand, it appears quickly and without resistance.
So across all 9 sectors, the instruction is really the same. Apply the elemental logic and remove the stagnation. Because clutter, whether it is old career clothes or unresolved emotional baggage, is the systemic block to new momentum.
Absolutely. Changing your physical surroundings is a declaration of intent. It stops your energy from leaking out, and it creates a clear pathway for the new chi of the fire horse year to move in and support your current ambitions.
We've established the cures and the enhancers, but now we really need the when. Feng Shui and Chinese metaphysics are so deeply tied to specific cycles of time. So when does this critical new fire horse energy actually kick in? Is it the Lunar New Year that we see celebrated?
That's the common misconception we have to clarify. In Feng Shui, for the purpose of environmental adjustments, we adhere strictly to the solar calendar, not the lunar calendar.
Okay.
The annual energy shift, when the flying stars change places and the elemental chart for the year becomes active, occurs precisely around February 4th or 5th. This date is known as Li Qin. It's the midpoint between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, and it marks a distinct shift in the distribution of solar qi.
So for you listening, this means the crucial environmental adjustments, especially placing that center water cure, should ideally be implemented before that solar date. Otherwise, you're waiting until the new energy has already arrived before you even start preparing for it.
Precisely. You want your house to be aligned and ready to receive the new energy on the day it arrives. You want that flow to start immediately. But beyond the annual solar shift, we also heard about aligning personal intentions with the moon cycles, which brings us into astro feng shui territory. How do the lunar phases act as a timing mechanism for our personal goals?
The moon provides this invaluable, constant rhythm for personal growth and manifestation, and it complements the fixed architecture of the feng shui cures beautifully.
It does. The new moon is the time to plant the seeds of intention. It symbolizes new beginnings, and it's perfect for initiating goals that correspond to the house or the gua you're activating.
So for example,
If you've just placed enhancements in your career gua, the new moon is the perfect time to write down your new career goals or send that pivotal email because you're aligning your action with the cosmic push of initiation.
and what about the full moon? That energy always feels so powerful, but often really intense and revealing.
The full moon brings the energy of culmination, reflection, and crucially, release. It's the time to harvest the fruits of your efforts and to let go of what no longer serves you.
So it's for release rituals.
It's ideal for powerful release rituals. For example, if you realize a negative financial pattern is tied to old family history, the full moon is the time to actively release that negative ancestral pattern and maybe symbolically clear out items in your family or wealth gua that represent that old baggage.
That layering of the physical space with the lunar cycle for intentional release is incredibly powerful. It makes the cure feel more personal than just, following a list of instructions.
It adds the human element of conscious intent. It's the difference between just planting a seed and actually nurturing a seed. The physical change in the environment is the intention, and the lunar cycle is the timing mechanism for the conscious, energetic release and manifestation.
Beyond that monthly flow, what about the longer-term personal timing cycles we should be aware of, especially in a dynamic year like 2026? We have to touch on the concept of the Saturn return. For listeners who aren't familiar, this sounds formidable.
It is often presented as daunting, but Saturn is truly the planet of discipline, responsibility, and maturity. It returns to its exact position in your birth chart around ages 29 to 30, and then again in your late 50s.
And it lasts a while.
This transit is profound because it lasts about 2.5 years, and it acts as a cosmic auditor. It forces you to confront past decisions, it challenges your current structures, and it requires you to redefine your personal identity and your goals before you can move forward.
That intensity makes perfect sense for a period of rapid professional and personal change. But how does knowing this planetary timing help someone navigate those challenges in a year like the Fire Horse?
Knowing the timing provides necessary clarity and it reduces psychological stress. If you are struggling with career setbacks or deep self-doubt during that 2.5 year window, understanding that it is a defined period of intense growth driven by Saturn can make it psychologically manageable.
Right.
It's like being handed the syllabus for a difficult university course. You know the duration, you know the themes, and you know there is a graduation date.
So, astrology here acts as a kind of cosmic guide, offering a roadmap to understand when those intense periods of growth and challenge will exist. It teaches you patience and helps you remain in sync with the natural rhythm of your life instead of fighting it,
Yes.
which is the perfect complement to the immediate environmental management of Feng Shui.
Absolutely. Both Feng Shui and astrology are systems designed to help you stop fighting the current and start flowing with the natural, measurable rhythms of time and space.
This has been a remarkably practical and extensive deep dive into the cosmic roadmap for 2026. To recap the essential moves for navigating this disruptive Firehorse year, you really need to focus on two core actions that address the year's elemental imbalance.
First and foremost, activate the missing water element. This is the non-negotiable step to ensure wealth and opportunity flow naturally in this otherwise very dry year.
So the bowl of water.
Use this simple, safe bowl of clean water in the center of your home and incorporate deep blues and round, flowing shapes. This fills that elemental void and it strengthens the victory star.
And second,
Use intentional design principles based on the Bagua map to support your specific goals. Go through each life area, career, love, wealth, health, and apply the elemental enhancements.
and especially introducing Earth.
Particularly introducing earth elements to stabilize that impulsive fire energy. And crucially, clear out the stagnant clutter that is symbolically blocking your new momentum. Remember, Feng Shui is alignment. It makes it easier for opportunities to find you, but you must be ready to receive them.
And that leads us to a final provocative thought about navigating change using these kinds of knowledge systems.
Yes. Whether you rely on Feng Shui or classical astrology or other knowledge systems, the practice itself provides a structured, disciplined way to engage with the natural world's rhythms. These ancient systems serve as a kind of map and compass for the soul's path. Considering that 2026 is often viewed as the beginning of a new cycle, the most powerful enhancement you can make is internal. Understanding your personal genre, let's say, or your inherent energy profile as defined by your birth chart, helps you accept yourself.
Right.
And it gives you the self-knowledge necessary to write a truly courageous and strategic storyline in the transformative year ahead. The environment is the setting. You are the author.
That's a powerful way to end it. It's not about waiting for luck to strike, but recognizing your personal blueprint and then proactively building the environment that supports the hero you intend to become. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into the Firehorse year.